Now.
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
Well, it is 7:07 on News Talk 105.9 WMAL. We are making sense of the news. A good Wednesday morning to one and all. We got a great show ahead of us still. Going to be joined in this hour by Reagan Reese. She is the Daily Caller's White House correspondent. Got to talk to her about what was going on in the White House press briefing room yesterday, but want to talk to her also about what's going on with Virginia and RFK Jr. and his name on the ballot. All of these things. The Democrats were fighting hard to keep him off the ballot. Now they're fighting hard to keep him on the ballot. We've got Adam Gillette in the next hour from Accuracy in Media talking about campus protests, especially at Columbia University. You are listening to O'Connor and Company. I'm Andrew Langer in for Larry O'Connor, sitting alongside Julie Gunlock. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning, Andrew. How are you?
I'm fine. A happy Wednesday to you as well.
No.
I know.
Patrice has copyrighted that. We are not allowed to do that.
So I don't know about you, but I go back and forth about our soon-to-come AI overlords.
I know. You and I love innovation. We love progress. We love modernity in many ways. Not all of it, but in many ways. And ooh, this is. I got a weird dovetail question into all of this. Do you play music when you're sort of getting ready in the morning? Like when you're... No, I play the news.
Okay, all right. So it's just one of those things where I installed a smart speaker in our master bathroom because I like to be able to listen to things. Listen to music. Julie's sort of cringing here as I'm going down this road. My point is, I like being able to. I was a guy growing up who when if I would buy a new tape or I'd buy an album and I didn't have my Walkman with me or whatever knockoff version of a Walkman I had. Yes, I know. I was always like, I wish there was some way I could play this instantly. I like being able to go and get my instant music. On the other hand, I don't like the smart speaker listening to me all the time, and I certainly don't like it when it gets political. This piece out of I don't even know where it is. On Twitter, it showed up yesterday about Alexa
Fox
supposedly.
Business is
there you go. Thank you. And Charlie Kirk here. Why she should vote for. She asked her smart speaker why she should vote for Trump, and then why Kamala. And as you can imagine, she got two different answers. Let's play cut 13, Michael.
Alexa, why should I vote for Donald Trump?
I cannot provide content that promotes a specific political party or a specific candidate.
Alexa, why should I vote for Kamala Harris?
While there are many reasons to vote for Kamala Harris, the most significant may be that she is a strong candidate with a proven track record of accomplishment. As the first female vice president, Harris has already broken down a major gender barrier, and her career in politics has been characterized by a commitment to progressive ideals and a focus on helping disenfranchised communities.
I mean, that's not just an answer, that's an in-detail answer. Now, I will say...
I'm telling you, Alexa's a lot more smooth than Kamala when talking about why she should be elected.
Right, that's very, oh my God. I don't know if you've seen this, but apparently there's a new ChatGPT update. And ChatGPT gets flirty. Maybe we'll talk about this in the coming days. ChatGPT gets very flirty with people.
Yes.
But my point is this, right? First of all, I tried this at home myself. You can try it at home with your smart speaker, and it didn't work for me. They allegedly fixed the glitch, but they at least admitted that there was a glitch there, Julie.
Oh, please.
I'm sorry, a glitch. I'm using air quotes here.
Okay,
go ahead.
And, honestly, I just can't help but wonder, why are the glitches and mistakes and errors always in favor of the Democrats?
Right.
It's not like we ever see these examples of, some sort of nakedly political thing on that defends us or represents the conservative side. No. It's always on the left, and they're like, "Oopsie, I don't know why. That's so weird." Right. And we buy it most of the time. We buy it, but this isn't just a mistake. They're just sad that they were found out. That's my theory.
Absolutely true. Right? They got caught, and somebody brought it up. I mean, it was there. It's funny to me. I'm reminded of the line Brian Wilson, who was the creator and lead singer and songwriter for the Beach Boys, made this statement. He's, someone pointed out they made a mistake in studio and it sounded good. And Brian said, well, when you repeat the mistake over and over again, all of a sudden you've got a song. I mean, that's really what we're talking about here. It's very,
You're
very
absolutely right.
subtle. I mean, here's the thing that gets me, right? Because we were promised this technology by Star Trek, right? You watch Star Trek, I watch Star Trek. I'm looking at Julie. Julie was not a Star Trek.
Of course. Yes,
okay.
I was.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So next generation, in order to ask your computer something, you don't think about the fact that your computer has to be on all the time and listening to you. And there's a creepiness to this. It's why, right? Yeah. It's why when you start talking with somebody about something, all of a sudden the ads appear. Now we at least have a marketing firm that is admitting that they're using your phone to listen to your ideas.
That's right.
I mean,
They're listening to your conversations. Now, listen, what's so interesting, Andrew, is that my husband's in IT, and everybody I've ever talked to, my husband is he almost has no apps on his phone. He has no sort of, now I'm going to send people out looking for him, but he's going to hate that. But he doesn't use these devices. He doesn't use AI. He doesn't use these. I know that there are people in tech that are really wildly interested in this stuff, but it makes him nervous. He wouldn't let us get an Alexa. He doesn't want us to have any of this sort of technology that can potentially spy on you. He's very careful about where he goes. And I know a lot of IT people who are like that as well. They just don't like the idea of some sort of spyware knowing your habits.
Our new machine overlords. Here's the thing. Here's where I know we haven't solved the problems yet. Here's what I want AI to do. When I get recommended a product and I actually go and buy the product, what I don't want is all of a sudden that product to be continue to market to me for the next, X 6 months later, right? Yeah, I've already bought the pair of pants that you were selling me. I don't need constant ads for pants. I don't need them anymore. Or, I'll buy a plane ticket somewhere and it will be bought, and United will still be trying to, whoops, I threw them under the bus. And the airline continues to say, hey, do you want to go to New York? Yeah. I already bought the ticket. You should know this. So once they solve that problem, then I'm good to go. But no smart speakers for you, huh?
This marketing firm that had admitted to it, they said that they use sort of an active listening software. It uses AI to capture real-time intent data by listening to our conversations. Yeah. This is the kind of stuff that I think is really creepy.
Right.
And again, it's so that they can then, and I have had the weirdest experiences where I swear I'm thinking about buying something and I see an ad for that item, and I am not comfortable with that, Andrew. I feel like it's invasive and weird. It just strikes me as sci-fi stuff.
Listen, I'm going to make a joke here, but it's rooted in seriousness. The next step will be that not only is your AI going to be listening to you, but it will start to interrupt you in conversations. You'll have a conversation, and all of a sudden the AI will start saying, no, you're wrong there. It's like going to be your friendly neighbor, your child that has no filter. Listen, we will continue in just a moment, but first it's 7:15 a.m., 16 a.m.
WMAL. Making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios.
Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
So, I feel like, Julie, we've seen at least one of these movies before in the very literal sense. Haven't we been down this road of Bennifer breaking up in the past? Am I missing something here?
It's so boring. I feel like if you're on that beat, you can just look back at your article that you wrote in 2003 and sort of reprint it, change the names out.
Yes.
She is a serial sort of relationship person. She has marriage after marriage. How many marriages has she had now? Is it 4?
I have no idea. Something again. I know you don't like to go to AI. How many marriages has J-Lo been in? All right, here we go. Let's go. My preferred search engine.
I'm going to
here.
say 5.
Four marriages. She's been married 4 times. I guess she wasn't married to Ben Affleck before. I thought they'd been married before.
No. They were engaged.
Ohani Noah, Chris Judd, Mark Anthony, and Ben Affleck.
Yes.
And but the Mark Anthony one at least lasted 10 years. Everything else seems to be about 2 years is her limit.
I will tell you, I am shocked. I am shocked at how quickly this fell apart. The Ben Affleck. I would have thought just like from a pride perspective, they were like, okay, we're going to give this a shot. And then, okay, to not embarrass ourselves, we're going to just stay in it for a while and pretend.
Yes.
But what I don't even know if they made it a year. Did they make it a year? Maybe.
No. It says 2 years here. I mean, that's what it is. 2002.
But he looked angry for a year and a half. You know, all those videos of him like slamming the door and talking really angry at her. And I mean, to be honest with you, he seems a little unhinged. But that's an understatement.
I was gonna say an anti-Boston thing. I won't do that in deference to our Boston listeners out there. But the divorce has the potential to get ugly with no prenup in place. I guess I don't know. I mean, who do you think is worth more? Again, I can go back to perplexity and ask who's worth more, J-Lo or Ben Affleck. I mean, I think it's got to be a push, though. I mean, I would think. Now, here, I learned something new today. I've been mispronouncing Travis Kelce's last name for a while.
Have you really?
I have.
Wait, is it Kelce or Kelce?
It's Kelce. It's Kelce is the right way to say it.
I have two.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was Kelce.
I thought you pronounced it the proper way earlier. No, it's Travis Kelce's representatives have denied the leaked strategy document that this document is drawn. So here's the thing. There's a leaked contract that claimed to reveal the relationship with Taylor Swift would end, coming out of the law firm of Nostra and Damas, clearly. Fake PR strategy document spread online gave an illusion that their year-long love story was a sham. I don't know. A lot of folks are just all in about this. I mean, it's been a compelling story on the one level, but
I think part of the reason people are all in on this is because Taylor Swift is a huge influence on young people, on young girls. And we want her to get married and have a happy life and do all these things. And frankly, before it's too late. And I know that kind of triggers people. But honestly, she is older now. So I think there is this idea that, hoping that she'll be sort of a good model. And get married and have this happy ending with Travis Kelce. So I almost said Kelce.
Listen, I do it all the time. By the way, to answer the question, Jennifer Lopez's net worth $400 million. Ben Affleck's a paltry $150 million. So
you are Googling like a madman over there.
Well, again, Perplexity AI is the way to go.
But I do think I feel I don't know. I don't follow it close enough. I don't know whether I feel bad for Taylor Swift, but I do wish that she would. I mean, talk about serial dating. I mean, she has had more boyfriends than J-Lo, and I don't know if that's true, but she's had a lot.
I could go to Perplexity AI and ask. I mean,
because she is such an influence on young women, I think a lot of people feel like, gosh, it would be nice if she settled down and got married and had a family life. So,
I suppose. I think. Listen, I just listen. I just want her to be happy. That's all I could wish her. I just want her to be happy. Well, I want J-Lo to be happy.
You certainly hope that Taylor Swift gets married, and because she is so influential over young women, we hope that women take that step and get married and have children, because we know if you don't, you're going to end up as a J.D. Vance cat lady.
Oh, I was going to say you're going to end up like Britney Spears.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. We got so much more to get to right now at 7:21 here on WMAL. Julie, I am particularly sensitive to making sure that I try to pronounce names correctly. Going back to junior high school when I was doing announcements and I would butcher athletes' names when I was reading about sports, I was told to pronounce it one way, of Travis Kelce or Kelce's name. Now let's get the definitive answer. Heather was able to find a clip. Let's hear this, Michael.
I'm not going to lie. Kelce has a nice...
Time out, though. That doesn't explain why we thought it was Kelce.
Because your mother thought it was Kelce.
Why did she think it was Kelce?
Because that was the name that I went by at work. That was my work name.
There we go.
Everybody at work did that, and so I just said, fine, screw this.
Good.
I'm going to do that. My dad would get calls or would call in to get extra work as an auxiliary cop, and he would always say, hey, this is Kelce. You got anything for me?
Got it.
When union guys would call the house to talk to Dad, they would ask for Bill Kelce.
God, Bill Kelce is a strong name. Should we go by Kelce or Kelce?
Do whatever you want. I did.
Well, there you go. So I wasn't far wrong. I mean, it's do whatever you want, but clearly everybody else is doing it, so I don't want to jar people. Julie, your thoughts
Well,
here.
you tried. You tried to be accurate, and I really admire that. But now You've ruined it for me. I will forever say Kelce. Thank
Well,
you,
yes,
Andrew.
you're
I will
quite
get it
welcome
wrong
there.
every time now.
No, but that's the whole point, is that there is no right or wrong here. It's really whatever you do. And by the way, good for them on sort of going with the flow and not being sort of really, it's like, it's not Andrea, it's Andrea. It's Andrea. So
They're
yeah,
nice
so
guys.
listen, we've got so much more coming up on the show today. Someone whose name I think we will be able to pronounce, Reagan Reese. I'm going to get this wrong. It's going to be Regan Reese or something like that. I'm going to butcher that as well.
You're going to mess up the rest of the show.
Yes, intentionally now. So stay tuned for that. Oh, and by the way, we're going to be. This is why I asked about Peter Gillette's name in the next hour, too, to make sure it wasn't the hard G or the soft G. I'm Andrew Langer. That's Julie Gunlock. This is O'Connor and Company. It is, of course, 7:30 right here on WMAL.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington. A Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news.
News Talk 105.9.
News now.
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
Yeah, I say these things, Julie Gunlock. I talk about the fact that I try not to butcher people's names, and then I butcher people's names. We got Adam Gillette joining us at the 8 a.m. hour. While we're working on getting Reagan Reese on, by the way, it's 7:37 here on News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news. I'm Andrew Langer in for Larry right now, and sitting with Julie Gunlock as we're spilling the tea about all of our friends in the movement, as it were, the movement. Julie, let me go back to this because, yeah, so I was talking about the accent issue. We spent a lot of time talking about it yesterday. Kamala Harris and the dueling accents.
The pandering, yes.
The pandering and the fact that you can go and listen to Kamala Harris give the same speech in Pittsburgh, in Detroit, and elsewhere. And that's the amazing thing about this election season, right, is that because she's giving the same speech over and over again, you can chart almost on a map how that accent is going to change.
Yeah, and again, like people need, again, she grew up in Canada. She's the daughter of 2 PhDs. She lived in a very exclusive, high-end neighborhood in Canada, in Quebecois. And then she goes to Detroit, and you played that tape of Beverly Hills Cop, and
yes.
Tries to, voters aren't stupid. They know what you're doing. And nobody, certainly at this day and age, feels like, I'm sure there are exceptions, but nobody's like, I have to vote for someone who sounds exactly like me. I mean, that's why we've had presidents that sound different, and and it doesn't really matter to voters.
What I loved, yeah, okay. So Michael, while we're waiting for Regan to call in, let's hear the colloquy between Corinne Jean-Pierre and Peter Doocy. Can you play cut 17, please?
Since when does the vice president have what sounds like a southern accent?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh.
Well,
I mean, this is...
Right.
She was talking about unions in Detroit using one tone of voice.
Is this something that
same
you think...
line.
Okay, Peter.
That she used the same line in Pittsburgh, and it sounded like she at least had some kind of a southern drawl.
Do you hear the question that you're... do you think Americans seriously think that this is an important question? They care... You know what they care about? They care about the economy. They care about lowering costs. They care about health care. That's what Americans care about.
So
that's what they want to hear.
This is something
they care about... Your
we
colleague
can
just
end this
asked me
there.
about...
Yeah. Something? Americans do care about this. And let's ask, something, listen, because, Julie, I've done this already. Reagan, is it Reagan or Regan? Is that the proper way to pronounce your name?
It's Reagan, like the president.
Got it. Well, there are
right.
people who used to pronounce the president's name Regan. So, we've been talking about butchering names. Okay, I'll ask you this. The gentleman, the football player who's dating Taylor Swift, is it Travis Kelce or Kelce?
You're going to do this all morning, aren't you?
I am
Yes.
going to do this.
Travis Kelce.
There you go. Okay,
Out there.
so she's team Kelce. We've been talking about this. So, were you in the briefing room when Peter Doocy asked about Corinne Jean-Pierre's accent? Have people within the White House press corps been talking about Kamala Harris's accent?
So I was there, and I'm not sure if they've been talking about the accent, but I can tell you that when Peter asked that question, there were some groans. I heard some, oh my gosh, and, general discomfort in the room, which is to be expected from the White House press corps when Peter Doocy asked a question that, like you pointed out, the American people do care. They are curious. Why is Kamala Harris kind of putting on a show and acting different at two different rallies?
Well, I frankly found Peter Doocy's question legitimate and also hilarious. So I was glad he asked it. I want to pivot over to RFK.
Please.
You've been covering this issue quite a bit, Reagan, and talking about the effort to get RFK's name off the ballot, his effort to get his name off the ballot. And apparently it is now off. It was taken off yesterday. Can you tell us a little bit about that process?
Yeah, so as of last week, RFK Jr. was not off the Virginia ballot. The Department of Elections had not heard from the campaign. And this is a state that the Trump campaign believes is in play and that they're, going to try to win. And so this kind of raised some alarms to people who noticed he was still on the ballot. They made the move. We reported first on Saturday that they were going to be taking his name off the ballot. They made the move yesterday, the Kennedy campaign. There was no deadline. He could have removed his name at any point, but September 6th was the last day for candidates to qualify, and early voting starts on September 20th. So, had they started printing ballots between September 6th and September 20th, and then he made that move to get off the ballot, his name would have still been on there, and people could have still voted for him even if he withdrew.
Well, Ray, what was the holdup? I mean, we've seen Nicole Shanahan came out with this very compelling sort of pro-Trump video talking about, I have never Trump relatives. We need to set aside our feelings about, if you don't like him, you need to set aside your feelings for the health and of the country. And RFK himself has been very, sort of campaigning for Trump as well. So I don't understand what happened. What was the holdup?
Yeah, what I've heard is maybe some general confusion or disorganization. I've heard frustration about how that process has gone down, about, not immediately taking his name off the ballot in Virginia. But, once I started asking around, then I did start to get this solid answer. I've heard just general frustration. Like you mentioned, I think I've heard from sources close to the campaign that there are supporters who are a little frustrated that RFK Jr. dropped out of the race and endorsed Trump, and that these are diehard fans of his that wanted to see him keep going. And so I have to wonder if maybe that was some motivation in maybe keeping his name on the ballot.
Yeah, we get down to it real quick. Reagan, while we have you on the phone, you just did a piece about J.D. Vance. Republicans seem to be good on J.D. Vance. He's an invaluable asset to the Trump campaign. What are you hearing?
Yeah, I mean, J.D. Vance, it's no secret, got off to a rough start. But what Republicans and the Trump campaign is really starting to feel is that he has found his stride and that he is packing punches, and he has been a great asset on the campaign trail. And they think that draws a sharp contrast to Governor Tim Walz, who keeps getting caught in all these lies and these flip-flops and, sits quietly next to Kamala Harris for 8 minutes in an interview and is kind of there awkwardly. They think that he is, really starting to be valuable to the campaign and somebody that they're going to continue to deploy on the campaign trail to help them win in November.
Well, there you go. Well, Reagan Reese, thank you so very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
That's Reagan Reese. She's the White House correspondent for the Daily Caller. It's 7:45 now. WMAL traffic and weather every 10 minutes. First on the fives, here's Jamie Witt.
WMAL, more than just politics, because laughter is the best medicine. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Well, Julie Gunlock, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez's split is in the news again, and what is old is new again. Brian Stelter is now back on CNN after being unceremoniously removed by the then CNN president a couple of years ago. He's going to be editing reliable sources and doing a bunch of things. One it was more or less my reaction, because what I love about Brian Stelter is that he, he's had some interesting takes on things in the past. Here's what I love. Let's start with this. Brian Stelter talking about, actually, well, we don't have it. I have. There's some great clips out there about him sharing. Yeah, let's play cut 19.
And the television networks are going to have interesting choices to make, interesting decisions to make about whether to cut away if there's this stream of disinformation happening live. Now, I can tell you, Daniel Dale, CNN's fact checker, he will be standing by. I think you will see him in prime time here on CNN, providing fact checks when necessary. But I also think we're going to see asymmetry in the way Fox covers the convention.
Yes, of course. What he's talking about here, hold on, Julie, is he is talking about the Hunter Biden laptop, which he poo-pooed. This is, by the way, the same guy who was promoting the Steele dossier. There's audio out there of him swearing that the Steele dossier had been verified. So the garbage dossier that was Russian agitprop, he says that's verified, but the Hunter Biden laptop, which later proved to be verified, that was just misinformation. He gets to go back to CNN.
I love that Daniel Dale will be standing by to correct any misinformation. These are the Russian collusion hoax pushers. These are the laptop deniers. You're absolutely right. They are the pushers of disinformation. It's just the audacity of that guy. Ugh.
Well, also, I love this. Again, we're talking about people talking about changing values, changing perspectives. Here's what he wrote. The media industry has matured. CNN has evolved, and I have changed a lot since I signed off 2 years ago. He's changed a lot in 2 years, Julie Gunlock. After 20-plus years as a news junkie, I changed my habits and tuned out for a bit. I also changed my vantage point, moving from Manhattan to a horse farm near one of Donald Trump's golf clubs. There you go.
Brian Stelter had a midlife crisis, and now he's back. But just the image of him on a horse farm. I don't know why it's so funny to me. I'm sorry, but
he's going to be shoveling the stuff.
He's pretty soon he's going to be making sourdough. He's already got his sourdough starter. He goes out and gathers eggs in the morning. He's practically Ballerina Farms. But this does shine a pretty bright light on the fact that CNN has no new ideas. They're afraid of new talent. They're afraid of conservatives, of actually, thank goodness for Scott Jennings, right? He is a real voice of wisdom. I mean, there are other Republicans, or Jonah Goldberg and Alyssa Ferraro.
But Scott Jennings breaks the mold in that up until this point, it had been only never Trump Republicans and Republicans they thought they could make look stupid.
Sort of self-hating Republicans was their model, and Scott Jennings has really broken that, and I applaud them. But it's one guy. One guy. And, to have a media critic be Brian Stelter, who was literally, he's a joiner. He's not a critic. He's not really going to look at this, analyze this. We'll see. Maybe his little midlife crisis has changed him. I doubt it.
I doubt it as well. It's 7:53 here on